This is the supine chest opener exercise, inspired by Applied Integration Academy. What we're going to do is get in a 90-90 supported position. Our feet don't necessarily need to be on a wall, just a chair works as long as you have around a 90-degree bend at both your knees and your hips. The purpose of this is just to make sure that your low back stays relaxed and you're not in an extended position. We just want the rib cage to be down, nice and relaxed here. It is essential that we have a towel roll underneath our neck, and the curvature of our neck is being supported by the thickness of that towel roll. So it will depend how thick that towel is going to be, but the general idea you're looking for is that it's giving you enough support to feel like your chin is pointing directly at the ceiling, but it's not so much to where it's tipping your head back further than that, and it's not so small to where your chin is dropping down. You should feel like you can totally relax and your chin is directly up. Now we have 2 yoga blocks right here because we're going to start the exercise by just getting our elbows directly out from our shoulders, right about there, and then just letting them fall back and resting completely passively on those objects. So they don't have to be yoga blocks. You can do whatever you want as long as you're getting an even height on both sides, something about 4 to 6-ish inches. If you need something a little bit taller, so that way you can stay relaxed, you can do something like that, and that would be totally fine as well. So now the purpose of this is to make sure we can expand our rib cage without engaging our neck whatsoever. It's going to be pretty hard for some people. So here's how I want you to breathe through this. Get a nice, soft, full exhale through your mouth with an open mouth, like you're making an O. Do that for about 5 to 8-ish seconds. And at the end of that exhale, you're going to feel your rib cage come down a little bit, and you're going to feel a little bit, hopefully, of side ab engagement. Not your six-pack abs, but your side abs. And you're going to maintain a slight bit of tension in those side abs as you close your mouth and put your tongue to the roof of your mouth and inhale very silently through your nose. If you do that full exhale well, you'll see Trevor's ribs come down. Now he's going to close his mouth, put the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and silently inhale through his nose without engaging his neck whatsoever. So he's going to feel his chest rise a little bit, but again, never at the cost of him feeling his neck engage. Because the goal of this is to educate our body how to use our diaphragm and breathe without our neck, you need to make sure that your neck stays relaxed. So the biggest problem you're going to have is feeling the front of your neck really want to kick on. So if that's the case, then you can work with more shallow inhales and exhales. So if you feel like when you start to inhale, your neck's going to kick on, stop the inhale before that point and then exhale again. If you need to move to strictly just nasal inhalations and exhalations, that's completely fine. Softer and longer breaths are always better than harder and more forceful here. Some common things you might feel which indicate that you're using your neck is obviously tension on the front side, but also the traps raising up like that. Now you are going to get some movement of the chest rising towards the ceiling and the rib cage as a whole, but it should be up, not necessarily shrugging vertically. Now, we also want to make sure that our low back stays flat on the ground. So when you inhale, you should not lose that back flatness on the ground. If you're doing that, you might need to drag your heels down into that object, that chair a little bit. Your hamstrings will kick on a little bit, and that'll help you keep your back more flat. As a progression, you can put a pillow underneath your pelvis, your low back, and part of your mid and upper back. Now, we need to make sure that our head is still supported by that towel roll, and that way your chin is still pointing at the ceiling, but this is going to put you in a little bit more of an opening with your chest and sternum, and then everything else still applies. But don't do this if you feel like you can't manage it. Definitely start with the first progression and only move to this once you can do about 10 breaths perfectly, fully, without using your neck. To progress, we're generally looking for about a 5 to 8 second full exhale, nice engagement of the side abs, pausing, closing your mouth, putting the tongue on the roof of your mouth, holding that for about 2 to 3 seconds, and then a silent inhale. If you can do that perfectly for about 10 breaths, then you're probably ready to progress.